Before we dive into this incredible HFY sci-fi story, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Your support helps bring more epic tales of humanity's courage against the stars. And don't forget, share this video with a friend who loves sci-fi as much as you do. The Xinty system had become a dark legend along the galaxy's trade routes. 347 years ago, the last emperor died without an heir, leaving behind nothing but a throne that seemed to develop a life of its own. The imperial seat of Xinty, crafted from stellar metal and psychic crystals of the ancient Zephyrians, rejected every claimant. 17 military expeditions, 43 mercenary crews, and countless lone adventurers had tried to seize its power. All ended the same way, as piles of ash in the throne room. Max Cooper wasn't interested in galactic politics. The 32-year-old Terran explorer had come to Xinty Prime, chasing the faint signal of an old Terran research ship lost decades ago. His small freighter, the Resilience, landed on the outskirts of the abandoned capital with all the grace of a falling rock. Max was known for his creative landings. "Another dead world," he muttered, adjusting his respirator as he stepped through the silent streets. The crystal towers of the Zephyrians still stood tall, their iridescent surfaces reflecting the light of Xinty's 3 moons in hypnotic patterns. Beautiful, in a melancholic way. What Max didn't expect to find were the Kithara. Small, blue-skinned. Humanoids, they emerged from the shadows like curious ghosts. Barely reaching Max's chest, their large golden eyes seemed to absorb the very light around them. They had settled here 50 years after the last emperor's death, building a discreet underground colony. The Kithara were natural traders, equally famous for their mischievous sense of humor. "A Terran!" exclaimed Zix-9, their unofficial leader, his antennae trembling with excitement. "What a delightful surprise. We haven't seen one of your kind in, 2 decades, perhaps." Max raised his hands in peace. "I'm just looking for a lost ship. I don't want trouble." "Trouble?" Klexfor laughed, the sound like clinking crystal. "We love trouble, especially the fun kind. Tell us, Terran, have you heard of the Throne of Xinty?" Of course he had. Every pilot on the outer fringe had. Max shook his head. "Not interested in burning alive today, thanks." The Kithara burst into sharp laughter, exchanging mischievous glances. "Oh, come now," Rin 7, the only female of the group, teased. "You Terrans aren't known for being, what's the word? Stubborn to the death?" "The word you're looking for is stupid," Max replied dryly. "Exactly." Zix-9 clapped. "So how about a little wager? If you sit on the throne for 5 seconds without turning to ash, we'll give you the coordinates of every lost ship within 20 parsecs, including the one you're after." Max paused. The offer was far too good to be true, which usually meant it was a trap. But the Kithara weren't known for malice, only mischief. And he really needed those coordinates. And if I die, well, Klexfor shrugged, then we'll have a great story for the taverns. Deal? Against all common sense, Max followed the cheerful group through the empty streets to the Imperial Palace. The structure was breathtaking, translucent walls refracting starlight into cascading colors. At the center of the grand hall, atop a pedestal of black stone, stood the Throne of Xinty. It was imposing. Forged from stellar metal into shapes that looked both ancient and futuristic, its lines flowed like frozen water. Psychic crystals embedded along its arms and back pulsed faintly with inner light. Piles of ash circled its base, the remains of the unworthy. "Doesn't look that scary," Max lied, as the air around him tingled with strange energy. His skin prickled, and he felt the unmistakable sensation of being watched. "Famous last words," Rin 7 muttered, grinning. Max stepped closer. The tingling grew stronger, like the air itself carried static electricity. The crystals flared brighter, reacting to him. He stopped a meter away. "You know," he said casually, "I grew up on Proxima Colony. Average temperature, -40 degrees, toxic atmosphere, radiation storms twice a week. My dad used to say Terrans are good at 2 things, surviving the impossible and being too stubborn to die when we should." He took another step. The throne came alive. Psionic blue fire burst across its surface, and a presence ancient and vast swept through the hall like an icy wind. The Cathara recoiled, their golden eyes wide with fear. Max smiled. "Well, hello to you too," and he sat down. The explosion of light was blinding. Psionic flames engulfed Max, and for a terrible moment the Cathara thought they had just witnessed another Terran turn to ash. Then the light dimmed. Max sat comfortably on the Throne of Xinty, mild surprise on his face. The flames no longer burned him. They curled gently around him like a cat brushing against its master. "Huh," he said. "This is cozy." Silence. Absolute silence. "How?" Zix-9 finally screamed. Max studied the glowing crystals on the throne's arms, feeling a strange connection surge through him. Memories not his own flashed across his mind. Zephyrian rituals, ancient science, fragments of a dying empire. And then he understood. "Oh," he said, almost laughing. "It's not about power, dignity, or royal blood. It's about sheer survival." He turned to the stunned Kithara. The throne wasn't testing who was worthy to rule. It was testing who could survive ruling a hostile galaxy. He rose, the flames fading. The Zephyrians were dying when they built this. They knew their successor had to withstand whatever the galaxy threw at them. Someone who'd already lived through hell and kept going out of sheer stubbornness. Rin 7 blinked. "And Terrans?" "We're experts at that," Max finished. "Our homeworld tried to kill us long before we discovered fire. Every colony we build tries to kill us in new and creative ways. We just get used to it." The Cathara exchanged glances and then erupted in hysterical laughter. "Oh, this is rich!" Klex 4 wheezed between fits. "The galaxy sent its greatest warriors, wisest leaders, proudest nobles. And all the throne wanted was someone too stubborn to die." Max smirked, walking back to them. "So about those coordinates?" Of course. Zix-9 was still laughing. "A deal is a deal. But tell us, Emperor Max Cooper, what will you do with a galactic empire?" Max looked back at the throne, then at the stars shining through the crystalline walls. "Honestly, probably ignore it. I've got ships to find." And that's how Max Cooper, Terran explorer, expert in crash landings, accidentally became the first Emperor of Xinty in 3.5 centuries, the first in history to treat the position like a part-time job. The Cathara never stopped laughing about it.